Then we ran to 1 hour of Zack D Films' most cursed animations, from a person getting pooped on out of nowhere to a guy literally getting stabbed in the eye.
If you get stabbed, she was trying to pull her 2-year-old daughter out through the open passenger window. But as she reached in, the toddler's tiny hand pressed the electric window switch. The glass slid up, closing tightly around her neck. And in seconds, her was cut off. Her husband found her slumped against the car, unconscious. He smashed the glass to free her and rushed her to the hospital, where she eventually died from the pressure of the window.
Wow, wait, what? Wait, that's actually so sad. Oh my gosh. Imagine how horrible that child must feel, especially as they get older. Yeah, this is truly heartbreaking. No one deserves such a painful end. By the way, y'all, all of these videos by Zack D Films is real. They're non-fiction. So what you just saw is based on the true story.
If you tried to hit a cannonball with a wooden bat, it would shatter into splinters and rip your arm right out of its socket. That's because a cannonball travels at almost 700 miles per hour.
600-700 miles per hour.
Is stronger, but the cannonball would still turn it into shrapnel, and you'd still lose an arm. You would need a tungsten alloy bat 4 inches thick and swung with superhuman strength if you wanted to stop a cannonball.
That feels like he has the imagination of a kid with some of these videos.
The giant steel shovels slam into the ground in a circle around the trunk. Then they drive down deep, slicing straight through roots as they form a cone-shaped basket under the tree. Now, some roots are cut, but most are lifted inside the packed ball of soil. Then the hydraulics pull upward, raising the entire tree out of the ground.
Guacamole.
The spade carries the tree to its new spot, with the root ball still clamped tight inside the blades. The truck lowers the tree into place, and the shovels slide back out one by one, ready to keep growing.
Nice. Hey, this is good. We want to have like less cursed animations, Zack D Films, all right? Let's keep it like this, hopefully.
Your poop normally travels smoothly.
Yeah, this is cursed, bro.
Colon. But if you're constipated, your intestines absorb too much water from your poop. This makes it dry and hard, causing it to move very slowly through your colon. Eventually, the slow-moving poop impacts with more poop, causing a blockage. And this can lead to a large hard mass that completely stops the colon from moving your poop.
Yep, I take back what I just said. That yeah, Zack D Films will traumatize, disturb, and curse me with his animations. Your poop. What a great way to start a conversation. What is your biggest fear, Zack D Films animations?
You might get poop dumped on you if you're walking down a street in 18th century Edinburgh. Back then, it was common for all types of waste to be tossed out of windows.
Are you serious?
To combat this, a law was passed saying waste could only be thrown between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m.
What?
And before throwing the poop, you were supposed to yell out "Gardy-loo" as a warning to those below. Now, this law has never actually been repealed, meaning it's still technically legal to throw your poop here.
Bro, use toilets, bro. I don't care, bro. I don't care if it's the 18th century, bro. Go get a toilet, bro. How am I sprinting to avoid the poop shower set me?
Criminals head.
Woo! Woo! Wow, okay, we started out strong, huh? We started out strong, okay.
It was cut off and then cleaned to remove blood and tissue. Then it was soaked in a chemical that kills bacteria and preserves tissue. The head was then placed inside a glass jar, which was filled with more of this chemical, and the jar was sealed, making sure it was airtight. This process kept the heads intact, so they could be studied later.
If you think this was crazy, bro, these animations from Zack D Films only get crazier throughout the video.
They cut into her face to tighten loose skin around her cheeks and eyes. You see, she had flown overseas for the surgery because it was cheaper.
Turkey.
When she arrived, the clinic was in a hospital's basement. And after the operation, they wrapped her up and sent her home the same day. But her scars didn't heal correctly, and they pulled her skin too tightly. This stretched her eyelids, preventing them from closing all the way. Now she lives with dry, burning eyes that water constantly, and they'll never fully shut again.
That's so sad. Oh my gosh.
They put a tack on her chair.
Are you serious? Oh, okay.
The joke.
Yo.
And when she it pierced her skin. She let out a yell before laughing at the prank. But a few days later, she began to feel sick.
Oh.
You see, the tack actually had bacteria on it, which entered her bloodstream through the wound. The infection quickly spread, causing severe blood poisoning. Doctors did everything they could, but unfortunately, she didn't make it.
Wait, that's actually so sad. And by the way, bro, all of Zack these films videos are based on the true story. None of it is fiction, so this is tragic. This one's actually sad. The fact that she laughed makes it look like the person who put the attack on the chair was her friend. Can't imagine how they felt afterwards. That's so sad, bro.
The ghost of the dead woman
Whoa!
appeared to her mother.
What the heck?
Her husband had claimed that she died from a heart attack, but the ghost insisted he had actually strangled her in a fit of rage. After 4 nights of haunting, they finally dug up her body, and shockingly, the autopsy confirmed her neck had been broken. The husband was arrested and put on trial, where the jury convicted him of murder based on the testimony of a ghost.
What? Based off a ghost? For those wondering, in the 1900s, this was a legend and a girl went to her grave and the ghost started begging her to help her. Wow.
If you dropped a nuke on a hurricane, you might think the force would be enough to completely destroy it. But hurricanes release the same amount of energy as a 10 megaton bomb every 20 minutes.
Every 20
That's
minutes.
Almost 700 times bigger than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. To destroy a hurricane, you'd need to change the air pressure at the eye of the storm. But even the biggest nuclear bomb in the world would only change it for a few seconds. So instead, you would need to drop 700 nukes, one after the other, to destroy the hurricane completely.
Yeah, Zack the films. Of course I got nukes in the back of my hand, or in my inventory, bro. Floor to be taking notes. That's actually a scary thought. You just wasted a good nuke. The hurricane still comes smiling at you while carrying radioactive materials in the wind. So that's actually pretty scary.
The paper cylinder rotates, showing pictures of a horse through slits on the side. But when it spins fast, it looks like the horse is running. That's because your eyes still see the first image before the next one quickly replaces it.
Damn, we're slow.
This creates the illusion of motion. Today, instead of cylinders, screens now show dozens of pictures every second. Your eyes blend those fast-moving frames into what looks like smooth, continuous motion, but it's essentially the same idea.
That's very cool, bro. The horse. I've been running for 150 years. Can I get a break? Respect to the horse for running this long.
A red-hot iron is pushed into the tree, wounding it on purpose. Then a syringe filled with salt water is emptied inside the hole. This causes the tree to flood the damaged area with sticky resin to stop the damage. And over the next few years, the resin slowly spreads, turning into a sweet-smelling wood deep inside the trunk. Finally, it's harvested and sold for thousands of dollars per pound before being made into a luxury perfume.
Did we just bro, we just unlocked the method, bro. For those wondering, agwood is the fragrance ingredients in this demonstration. Oh, okay. Keep in mind, you can't do this any tree. It's specific types of tree. Okay, I was about to say. I was like, bro, literally just gave us the method to make millions of dollars.
A butterfly's tongue is as thin as a strand of hair and hollow like a tiny straw. And it could be threaded through the eye of a needle. Now, if you took a hippo's tongue and dropped it onto a microwave, it would cover the entire surface. But the blue whale's tongue is so massive that if you plopped it onto a car, the 5-ton muscle would crush the metal completely, flattening it like a pancake.
Whoa, that's crazy. From tiny to giant tongues. Wow. This is exactly why Zack would never run out of things to post, bro. Bro, I learned better from Zack the films than from school, bro. It's actually insane.
Patients would crawl inside the dead whale's body, leaving just their heads sticking out. They'd stay there for up to 30 hours, lying in the decomposing blubber. During this time, they'd breathe in the gas from the rotting carcass, believing it would cure their arthritis. And this all started because a drunk man once fell into a beached whale and claimed it cured his pain. Soon, whale hotels started appearing, offering this service to patients. But there's nothing to prove it ever actually worked.
The human race, it's just something different, bro. Whale hotels? Are we serious right now? Trusting a drunk man about this is insanity. That's what I'm saying, bro.
He lit the dynamite, ready to throw it out of the garage door. But his friends rushed in, unknowingly blocking the opening. opening. So instead, he aimed for a nearby window, but it hit the frame and
Oh
bounced
my
back,
gosh.
exploding on the man.
That's so
They
lucky.
rushed to a boat to take him to the nearby hospital, but the waves on the river were too high, and halfway there, the man stood up, then fell overboard. He disappeared into the water and was never seen again.
Oh, bro, that's unlucky, bro. Imagine missing the window, bro, and now your life changed. Ah, that's tragic, bro. This is like failing every single multiple choice question on the test.
If everyone on Earth farted at the same time, you might think the combined release of gas would create an unprecedented explosion. But is this actually true? Well, human farts can contain trace amounts of highly flammable gas.
Wait, really?
If all 8 billion people released this gas, it still wouldn't be enough to have a serious impact. It would just cause loud sounds and intense smells.
Damn.
If you skateboarded down
Whoa!
the Hoover Dam, the rapidly accelerate you, reaching
That's so
speeds
scary.
of up to 50 to 90 miles per hour.
That's
and
so
beyond.
fast.
Now, the curvature of the dam structure would make it incredibly difficult to maintain control. And if you somehow managed to stay on, the friction between the wheels and the concrete would probably start to generate some heat. Now, some people might think it could get so hot that it would start to burn the board and your feet. But this probably wouldn't happen.
Nah.
Approaching the bottom, the rapid deceleration would be abrupt.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. That the ending was perfect, came in like a left hook. Yes, sir.
Premature babies were put in glass boxes and displayed at the carnival.
What the
and
frick?
Millions of people would pay just to look at them.
What the
Diamond
heck?
rings were slipped over their arms to show just how tiny they actually were. But these boxes were actually early incubators, pumping warm air inside. They kept the babies healthy as they struggled to survive, and the carnival show actually saved more preemies than the hospitals did.
What? Y'all don't believe that, bro. This is actually crazy, bro. World's craziest animation by Zack Films, bro. The fact that this is the carnival save more babies in the hospital is insane, bro. I don't believe it, bro. This is so like, I don't even think uncanny is the word. It's so just out of the ordinary.
He read each answer out loud, and when he reached the correct one, someone in the crowd coughed. He would then choose that answer, and it looked like he guessed right every time. Finally, he won the grand prize. But when the producers rewatched the footage, they noticed it was always the same audience member coughing, and this only happened on the correct answers. You see, the person coughing was actually his wife, and with another man's help, she coughed the right answers to her husband on stage. All three were found guilty, and even though he technically won, the prize money was never paid.
What? Oh, that's unfortunate. I was rooting for the guy competing, bro. I read this story. It's a whole documentary. Damn, really?
If everyone on Earth peed into the Grand
What
Canyon,
are we doing,
you
bro?
would think it would fill up in less than a day. But the Grand Canyon can hold about 1.2 quadrillion gallons, and the average person pees about half a gallon a day. So if all 8 billion people peed at the same time, they'd only add about 4 billion gallons of pee. At that rate, it would take over 800,000 years of constant peeing to fill it up.
That's so nasty, bro. Ew, bro. What the? This is why Zack would never run out of content, bro. Like, bro's answering drunk questions. Yo, Zack Films, bro. Sometimes he just goes too far, but hey, we love him, bro. Because he's educational, funny, and traumatizing.
He woke up to banging coming from downstairs.
Boom, 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 boom.
The clock read 3:34
Oh, that's
a.m.
scary. That's
he
scary.
checked his parents' room. Empty. He went downstairs, but as he reached the living room, he saw men stealing the TV.
No.
Terrified, he ran upstairs and locked his door. Then the banging started. He woke
Again?
up, believing it was a dream.
Whoa, whoa,
but the
whoa,
clock still
whoa, whoa.
read 3:34
Whoa.
a.m.
Wait, that's scary.
Scared, he went downstairs to reassure himself, but the men were in the kitchen yelling at his parents. He ran back upstairs just as the banging started. He woke up again. It was 3:34 a.m. This time, he stayed awake for 36 hours, haunted by the endless loop. He woke up to
And there's a loop at the end. That's insane. Wait, hold on. That's kind of crazy though. So for those wondering, a sleep terror, also known as a night terror, is a sleep disorder when a person, often a child, suddenly wakes up from the deep sleep in a state of intense fear and panic, often screaming or thrashing, but without a clear recollection of the event in the morning. Okay, I see. That's just terrifying.
After colliding with the iceberg,
Oh no.
a man calmly helped load lifeboats and eventually threw reluctant passengers into safety. But instead of securing his own spot, the man returned to his cabin for another drink. When the ship finally sank, he stepped off the stern, plunging into the icy waters. The alcohol in his system kept him calm, and the man claimed it's what kept him alive. Finally, a lifeboat rescued him, and despite the freezing temperatures, the man survived with little more than swollen feet.
What? Yo, being drunk can actually be superpowers. Just use it at the right times, like in these situations, bro. Man saves reluctant passengers and then reluctantly gets saved himself. Poetic. This man survived because he deserved to survive. Hey. Oof.
The rooster is placed under a bowl with garlic rubbed on the back.
What the
and
heck?
Suspects are told it'll crow if the thief touches it. Each person enters the room and touches the bowl. As they leave, the trickster smells each person's hand. If it reeks of garlic, they touched the bowl. So they're probably innocent. But if one hand smells like nothing, that person never touched the bowl because they were afraid the rooster would give them away, meaning the thief is exposed without the rooster doing anything.
Hey, you know what? If it worked, it worked. You know what I'm saying? If it worked, it worked. I mean, I don't know what to say. Being out of mercy out of a rooster is an experience for a lifetime, for real.
He gulped down a live
goldfish
in front of a crowd as a dare. A few weeks later, someone else said they could swallow 24 of them.
Whoa, bro. What the heck?
101
Yo, this is so
in
creepy.
one go. The stunt made headlines, and students across the country were swallowing live goldfish to outdo each other.
That's crazy.
But animal rights groups protested, while doctors warned of tapeworms. And a state senator even proposed a law to protect the fish.
Heck?
By the end of spring, the craze faded. But for a brief moment, swallowing goldfish was the ultimate college dare.
Yo, that looks creepy, bro. Look at this. Oh, hell nah. Them eyeballs.
Her hand got stuck inside the Easy Bake oven while it was still turned on, and the heating element inside burned her finger. She finally managed to pull it out, but the burn was so severe that doctors had to amputate her finger. Now this happened because the toy was redesigned, replacing the light bulb inside with an actual heating element. But after hundreds of children were injured, the oven was recalled.
Did they get sued? Please tell me they get sued. Poor innocent children. They're just trying to bake some cookies and now they get their finger amputated, bro. What? Crazy. The fact that it took 100 children to be injured just for it to be recorded is insane, bro. Oh my gosh.
He was shot in the balls, and this happened because those balls burst, releasing over 300,000 gallons of sperm.
Nice one.
The doctor pulled a pen cap out of the man's ear. He had been using a pen to itch the inside of his ear and lost the cap inside. Another time, a person kept hearing strange clicking sounds every time they moved their jaw. When the doctor checked their ear, they found a small white tooth hidden inside. In a more shocking case, a patient complained that their ear felt like it was burning. The doctor pulled out a battery that was leaking acid inside.
Yo. How do these items get in there in the first place? Huh? Yeah, Zack films is traumatizing, but it's only gonna get worse throughout the video.
If you encounter a grizzly bear and try to run, grab a gun and shoot at your balls and you could die.
Wow, bro, yeah, and this is why Zack films is traumatizing, because like I didn't know bears can grab a gun and shoot my balls. Yo, grab a gun part was so hilarious, yeah.
If you swallow a metal bowl, call 911 immediately and touch a cactus 40 times. And this happened because the metal bowl could go into a coma and explode in a huge fireball.
What? Bro, I don't even know what I'm watching, bro.
If you touch a spider, you would completely lose your family 40 times.
Family 40 times, and this happened.
Suddenly exploded in a fridge during a nuclear explosion. This happened because the bones and cartilage might start a dookie at 300 miles per hour.
What? Hey, Zack Film said it, not me. And by the way, he doesn't tell lies. All of his stories are non-fiction.
You could swallow a whole watermelon if your jaw worked like a snake's. But as it traveled down your throat, it would crush your windpipe, cutting off your air before it even reached your chest. chest. Your esophagus isn't stretchy like a snake's, and the watermelon would slam into your lungs and heart. Even if it somehow reached your stomach, it wouldn't fit, meaning you wouldn't have the acid or enzymes to break it down. At that point, your only option would be to throw it back up, but forcing it out would cause just as much damage.
Anxiety films is traumatizing for sure, guaranteed. Yo, I am Imagine pull up to an eating competition and doing this. Yeah, bro. Now someone respect the guy who did it. I couldn't breathe watching this. Bro, like this right here, like, bro, what is this? Like, you don't see this, bro.
The grenade was launched at the soldier,
grenade launcher?
hitting him right in the chest. But instead of exploding, it somehow lodged inside his body and stayed intact. Now, somehow he survived and was rushed to the hospital.
Oh my gosh, if that didn't explode, bro, all the workers are in danger right now. Bro, this is crazy stakes, bro.
If doctors treated the wound like normal, the electricity used to seal the blood vessels could detonate the bomb. Instead, he used only hand tools to pull out the live grenade, and somehow everyone survived.
That's so scary. Oh my gosh. I would be shaking if I was a doctor. These doctors treated this man despite the dangerous situation they're in. They're the real heroes. That's what I'm saying, bro. The doctors risked his life too to save another life with respect. That's what I'm saying, bro.
If you need to get out of a moving truck, you might think you should jump forward. But when you do so, you actually move even faster than the truck is driving.
What?
Meaning you hit the ground at even higher speeds, which can easily break your legs. Instead, face the other way and jump backward. This cancels out some of the truck's speed, slowing your fall. So when you land, you're less likely to get seriously injured.
Bro, honestly, I always thought of this situation if I ever got kidnapped. I swear. You know, it's like late night drives and you're just like in the back seat, bro. This is what I think, bro. Hey, but now we know. If you ever get kidnapped, you jump backwards and you will have a better landing. If you jump backwards from a moonshot, don't try to roll forward. You only roll in the direction the truck is moving, so brace yourself for that. Hey, we learn more. The more the merrier.
It would take giant tugboats a month of constant pulling to put the continents back together. Then you would need 6.5 quadrillion tons of superglue and enormous meteors slamming into it at incredible speed just to squeeze it out. The force would push the glue miles into the cracks, covering the edge of every continent for over 60,000 miles. And the water would make the glue set quickly, leaving you with a massive
Pangea. Yeah, man, this will definitely happen. Like, bro, not only is this Zack films traumatizing, he makes like the most craziest hypotheticals. Welcome back, Pangea. Yes, sir. Zack really knows how to bring the world together. Worth it. Let's do it. Thank you for the information. People will definitely try, knowing how easy it is to do. That's what I'm saying. Like, the most absurd ideas.
A stone was slowly placed across his lap, sitting on his knees. Now, he was kneeling on a sharp wood slab with grooves that dug into his shins and ankles, and the stone forced his legs deeper into those grooves, grinding into the bone. Then another slab was added, and another. Each one crushed his thighs further, cutting off circulation and locking him in place. And they'd leave you there for hours until you confessed.
Wow, that's so messed up. Everyone will confess in the streets even if they didn't do it. Yeah, bro.
If 1,500 bees swarmed in and stung you, and you weighed 150 pounds, the poison would quickly break down your muscles, releasing toxins into your blood.
Oh my gosh.
You see, 1 pound of body weight can only handle about 10 stings. Any more, and your kidneys would fail as they struggled to process it. At the same time, your body would release adrenaline, making your heart beat way too fast, and eventually you would have a heart attack and die.
Oh, that's 1,500 bees. Okay, I thought it was like 150. But still, like, I thought they just stung you, not poison you. Respect to the guy for flexing after going through all that. So if 14.99 bees sting me while I'm 150 pounds, then I'm safe. Thank you for the information.
They injected the lottery balls with a tiny amount of paint,
bro,
coating the inside and
what
making
are
them
we
heavier
cheating,
than
bro?
the others. And they did this to all of the numbers except 4 and 6. Next, they bought 15,000 tickets for all of the number combinations that used 4s and 6s. When the winning number was drawn, the paint-filled balls sank to the bottom, and 666 came out. Now, they did have the winning ticket, and they would have won almost $2 million, but they had told family and friends about the scam, and when word spread, it was exposed, meaning they got nothing except prison time.
This is why you don't tell anyone you won the lottery. Stuff like this will happen, bro. This is traumatizing, bro. Zack films will traumatize you, but he's a good lesson learner, bro.
He crushed up a butterfly.
No! Ashley, why did Ashley have to die?
Poured up into a needle and injected himself with it. And he did this because of an online challenge. But butterflies actually contain poisonous chemicals. He began throwing up almost immediately as the toxins spread throughout his body. And inside his veins, the poison triggered a reaction, causing them to swell. As it traveled, his organs began shutting down one by one. Doctors rushed to help, but it was already too late. He was dead, all because of a dumb trend.
That's traumatizing, bro. Viral only online challenge, which nobody heard of yet. I'd never heard of this before, I'm gonna be honest with you. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes at a moment.
The body of a high school boy was discovered inside a rolled up gym mat.
Oh my gosh.
Authorities initially ruled his death as accidental, suggesting that he fell into the mat head first while reaching for a shoe and suffocated due to the position. But his family didn't believe this story and requested a second autopsy. This revealed blunt force trauma to the boy's neck, leading to suspicions of foul play. But despite numerous investigations, the case remains unresolved and many questions linger.
That's so scary, bro. That's tragic. Gym class boys never get caught. Most boys overall never get caught. Yeah, bro. They should have investigated more. He deserves justice.
A clockwork motor slowly spins dozens of metal discs inside the doll's base. And as the grooves in each disc turn, they shift 3 metal rods back and forth. These connect to the doll's hand, with one controlling side-to-side movement and another controlling front to back. The last one raises and lowers the pen to form lines on paper, producing 3 different poems and 4 drawings in perfect detail.
What? Come on, boy, that's so cool. Whoa. For those who don't know, Swiss maker Pierre Jaget in 1774, he invented this math race in the 19th century. Well, that's even crazier.
If your eyes point in different directions, a doctor will make a tiny cut in the thin covering of your eye. Then they'll lift the exposed muscles from the eyeball, moving them slightly to help your eyes line up straight. Once they're in the right spot, the doctor stitches the muscles firmly into place so they stay aligned. Finally, they close the tiny opening on your eye with small stitches that
Whoa, really? I thought that was just like some invisible thing.
over time. And once it heals, your eyes stay aligned and point in the same direction.
Whoa, that's scary, bro. That's just so cool. The fact that someone was able to do this successfully is insane, yeah.
They took the enemy's bullet, carefully removed the gunpowder, and filled them with explosives that looked the same. When they fired, the pressure inside the barrel increased rapidly until it was more than the gun could handle.
Oh my gosh.
The rifle would burst apart, killing the shooter.
That's
and
insane.
These fake bullets were planted one at a time into boxes of real ammo, meaning it looked like a random malfunction, not a sabotage.
That's scary. Wow.
If you jumped off a building into a giant paper plane, could you actually fly in it?
What?
To make it big enough,
Again with the
you would need a
hypotheticals.
piece of paper half the size of a football field. Each fold would be reinforced with metal strips, and you would need to soak it in resin to keep the paper stiff. To fly it, you would need a giant wire.
Oh my
pulling
gosh.
it into the air almost 100 miles
100
an hour.
miles?
If you were sitting on top, your weight would soon tip it forward. But for a few seconds, you would actually be able to fly.
For a few seconds, nice.
They jack up the parked car,
Okay.
get underneath, and saw through the exhaust pipe. And in less than a minute, they get away with your catalytic converter.
What the heck?
This part is made of precious metals, which filter the smoke coming out of your exhaust. But these metals are actually worth more than gold, so thieves sell them to scrap yards for hundreds of dollars. Now, to stop this, some car owners paint them bright orange and engrave their license numbers onto the metal. This is supposed to stop scrap yards from buying them since it marks them as stolen, but many scrap yards still buy them anyway.
Okay, yeah. That's so deep, tedious, bro.
As she walked to the plane, she tossed coins at the engine.
So what are we doing? Where's the thought process, bro? Alright, bro. Let's see this.
And she did this so it would bring good luck.
We listen and we don't judge. We listen, we don't judge.
For the flight, but even one small coin can cause enough damage to stop the engine mid-flight. So the plane was completely shut down. Then staff spent 4 hours inspecting and removing the coins from the engine, and the woman was taken away for questioning.
Yeah, that's good luck for you, bro. Good luck for the rest of the people removing you out of the plane, bro.
You were crushed with a hydraulic. Would it be strong enough to press you into a tiny cube? Well, your body is mostly made of water, and water can't be compressed. So you would have to remove all of the fluids by drying out completely. Then you'd have to grind up your bones and organs into fine powder. Finally, you could crush it all together, turning an entire human into a dense little cube about the size of a football.
Yeah, Zack Films is traumatizing at its finest, bro. This guy, I swear, like, look at this.
Hydraulic press. Would it be strong enough?
If you think this was crazy, bro, it's only gonna get traumatizing throughout the video.
The rooster had a knife tied to his
leg
and
heck?
ran towards the man, slicing into his calf. You see, they were running away after police had caught them at a rooster fight. These birds are trained to fight and slice opponents during illegal matches. And in the chaos, one rooster sliced open the man's leg. It hit an artery and blood began pouring out. He was rushed to the hospital where he later died, but the rooster survived.
Hey, W Rooster though, W Rooster, but that's unfortunate, man. He chose the wrong day to mess with the Colin Sanders, yes sir. No way the Rooster used the Uno reverse card. Yeah, that's crazy. Dying from a rooster? That's just wild, bro. But the rooster survived as he should, yes sir.
If you crash into an electric pole and the line falls, you'll get electrocuted if you just step out of the car. That's because touching the car and the ground at the same time creates a circuit. This means the electricity will travel through the car and into your body as it tries to reach the ground. Instead, jump out with both feet together without touching the vehicle. Now, the ground around the car could still be active, and if you take regular steps, your legs could actually create another circuit. So keep your feet together, shuffle away slowly, and don't stop until you're far from the wires.
Wow, yeah, I'll definitely keep this in mind, Zack Films. If a power line ever falls on me while I crash into it, I'll shuffle my feet like that. How do we survive? I watched Zack Films video. Real talk, this is helpful. Thank you, Zack. Yo, honestly, bro, Zack Films is giving me life-changing, life-saving tips.
How big of a bomb would you need to completely destroy the Earth?
Yeah, great fact to know, Zack Films. Great fact.
Gravity is holding the Earth tightly together with more energy than the sun puts out in an entire week. And a nuclear bomb wouldn't even come close to ripping that apart. You would have to build a bomb 2 miles wide and fill half of it with positive particles and the other half with negative particles.
2 miles?
Then the impact would collide them against each other, and this would combine their energy, making an explosion big enough to blow the planet into dust.
See, right here, I swear in the future, hey, y'all gonna come back to this and be like, I knew it. I swear someone in the future, some villainous guy is gonna literally recreate this video, bro, probably in the North Pole or something like that, create a 2-mile nuclear bomb filled with positives and negatives, and hey man, Zack Films is creating villains. Very relevant for our day-to-day tasks, yes sir. Zack helping Thanos with this one. Okay, I'll get started, thanks. Hey man, I'm telling you, this guy Alex, bro, he might start it, bro.
If an ant climbs up the side of a Klein bottle, it'll walk straight into the opening at the top. Inside, the surface twists and loops until the ant comes back out without ever crossing an edge. Now it's upside down on what looks like the inside. It keeps walking, following the curve until it's right back where it started. That's because this bottle has no real inside or outside.
What?
It's made of just one continuous surface that twists through itself. So the ant moving along it never switches sides because there are no sides to begin with.
Oh, I was about to say, I was like, what the heck? Ugh, that ant's stuck in a loop, bro. Man's in the genjutsu. My brain isn't brain. Yeah, I was like, huh? Ranking the craziest Zack Films videos. Let's go.
They yanked out the feathers around the chicken's butt and pressed the butthole directly onto the infected lump, strapping it on. You see, they thought it would suck out poison from the patient. patient, and they would even seal its beak to encourage it to breathe through its butt. Once the chicken suffocated, they immediately replaced it with another one. And this method was used for centuries before people realized it didn't actually work.
Yeah, centuries, bro. Yeah, where's the so cooked?
The owner would beat
the
sticks, and he did this to make it aggressive towards humans, so it would guard him. And this went on for a long time.
Yo, this is so mean.
One day, the goat had enough.
Let's go, goat!
Charged forward, ramming its sharp horns straight into the man's stomach.
Let's go. Oh!
As the man stumbled away, the goat chased him.
Let's go, goat!
Porch, then kicked him off.
Yes, sir.
He hit the ground hard, dying within minutes. When his body was found, the goat was captured, but instead of being put down, it was taken in by
hey, W goat, bro.
Her son inside the chicken coop when he was just a baby.
Let's process that. Locked my son in the chicken coop when he was a baby. Okay, yeah, totally normal thing to do. Definitely.
Over the next 7 years,
7
he was
years.
Raised by the birds. He learned to move like them.
What
and
the
make
heck?
Strange bird-like sounds instead of talking. Because he only ate chicken food, he didn't get enough vitamins, causing his bones to warp and bend. Even after he was rescued, he moved around like a chicken. And though he eventually learned English, his body never fully recovered.
That's so unfortunate, bro. Man.
He was kidnapped and held hostage for 7 days. And her kidnappers planned to force her into marriage.
What?
But as the girl cried, a pack of lions suddenly appeared. The kidnappers were terrified, running from the scene and leaving their victim behind. But instead of harming her, the lions spent the next 12 hours guarding the girl.
What? Okay.
When police and her family finally got there, they found the girl shaken but alive, and the lions calmly walked back into the forest.
Hey, yo, W lions though. W lions. That's what I'm talking about.
Poop through a wooden plank with a hole cut in it, right above the crashing waves. And whatever dropped.
Hey, yo, ew, bro. I'm sorry. This is so traumatizing. Zack, bro. This is literally giving me nightmares, bro. That's just, I don't want to see some dookie butt. I mean, for y'all, it's a lot more covered. But, bro, I'm seeing the edges of bare butt cheeks and poop, bro.
The sea.
That's just, I don't want to see that.
The very front of the ship, so the wind would carry the smell away from
there's really stinky.
True, but there weren't walls or railings, meaning in rough seas, a single wave could easily knock you overboard.
Yeah, Psychopathic films is just traumatizing, bro. I don't know what to say.
Soldier was shot in the head in 1562.
1562?
He fell from a wall and into a ditch where workers buried him, thinking he was dead. After learning that he had been buried in a ditch, his servant came to collect his body for a proper burial. But as he was digging him up, he discovered that the man was still alive. The soldier lived to tell the incredible story of his survival.
That's literally one of my biggest fears, bro. Getting buried alive is probably like the most scariest thing to happen.
If a spider grew to 1,500 pounds and had 15-foot legs, it could theoretically hunt a human. But it wouldn't be quite that simple. You see, they breathe through thin layers of stacked tissue, but these lungs only work for small bodies. A giant spider wouldn't absorb enough oxygen and it would quickly suffocate. Even if it did somehow survive, its legs couldn't support its massive weight. So without major evolutionary changes, we're safe from giant spiders.
Aw, nice. Average Australian experience. The antlers don't need to raise, they need to break. Yeah, bro.
The needle is inserted into the dead spider, injecting air into its legs, and this forces them to open and close on command. Scientists can control this movement, turning the spider into a natural gripping tool. Since the spider's legs are built with microscopic hairs, they can be used to pick up tiny objects, and they could even be used in surgery, handling tools too small for human hands.
I'm so uneasy watching these videos, bro. I'm telling you, like, these Zack films just, they're so weird, bro. Like, damn. Having a spider for a surgery in my body sounds like a nightmare more than anything. Yeah, bro. I would not want to have that.
If you stomp on a spider, you might end up releasing a swarm of hundreds of babies all at once. And this is because some spiders don't actually lay their eggs in a web. Instead, they have to carry around their egg sacs, which are connected to their spinnerets. Once the sac hatches, the baby spiders will crawl up the mother's back. And if you happen to step on the spider, the baby bees will swarm the area.
I hate spiders, bro.
The sword was fixed to the top of the gun.
What the heck is
allowing you
this?
to either slash down your enemy or shoot them.
What is the
But if you shot
contraption?
at the wrong angle, the recoil would send the blade back toward
Oh!
your face. And for the sword to be stable, it had to be screwed to the gun's handle, which would make it impossible to load the magazine. Now, only one of these has ever been found, and the trigger, magazine, and bolt were all missing, meaning this was probably just a gimmick and never actually used.
I'm about to say, bro, like, what the heck? That's an interesting gimmick, for sure. If I go down, I'm taking it with me. A weapon.
Split the deck perfectly in half and press the two piles against each other, bracing with your finger.
Okay.
Next, push them gently until the cards spread out.
Okay.
This will alternate them, one card from the left pile and the next from the right.
Okay.
This will leave them perfectly mixed.
Okay.
Now, if you start with all 4 aces on the top, then shuffle the deck twice so that the cards alternate, the aces will be stacked 4 cards apart. Meaning, if you deal a 4-handed game of poker, you'll end up with all the aces in your hand.
Hey, yo, thanks, Zack, for saying, hey, you know what? Hey, we watching stuff that's not traumatizing. That's what's up, man. Something like this is so hard. Yeah.
The bullet would be placed into your mouth as you bit down hard. And this would happen during surgery on a battlefield. You see, there was no anesthetic, meaning you would feel every slice on top. The bullets were made of a soft metal that wouldn't damage your teeth. And while it didn't stop the pain, it gave soldiers something to clench and focus on. And this is what it meant to bite the bullet.
Oh my gosh, bro. The fact that the bite the bullet has true meaning behind it is really cool, but still, bro, I'm so glad that we are here today, bro, because anesthesia, I'm glad for that thing, but like, bro, imagine getting surgery back in the day, bro, you felt the pain of everything, bro. That's crazy.
He's mad because he died in the game.
Oh,
so he
man.
researched the other gamer's identity, and after 7 months of stalking, he realized he lived just a few miles away. When he rang
that's
the
so
doorbell,
creepy.
the man answered, and suddenly he pulled out a kitchen knife and stabbed the man in the chest. It missed his heart by less than an inch, and somehow the man survived. But the attacker spent 2 years in prison, all over a video game.
Just 2 years? No. I'm actually mad. I'm actually pissed up. Bro got mad over a video game, stalked the guy who killed him for 7 months, right? He finds him, gets a knife, and almost literally kills him. That man's just so lucky to survive with an inch of barely dying, bro. Nah, that guy deserves like 10, bro. Bro, Rage Quit lasted 7 months. I'm saying only 2 years in prison for attempted murder is genuinely crazy, bro. Honestly, in today's society, bro, it's gotten so bad.
He cut through his frostbitten
Whoa!
foot using only scissors, and
Only
the man
scissors?
felt everything. When it was done, she kept the foot in a freezer, hoping to take it home and cover it in resin. You see, her family owned a taxidermy shop, and she planned to display the foot in the window with a sign that read, "Wear your boots, kids." When the man died, she tried to steal the foot, but the other nurses stopped her, and his foot was finally sent off with the body.
Yo, what in the psychopath lady did we just witness, bro? Why do you want to steal a foot, bro? I don't care if you own that taxidermy shop. No! Making someone feel pain for the art is next level insanity. That's what I'm saying, bro. Next level insanity.
As the Titanic was
No!
rumors spread that the captain was drinking during the disaster.
What?
And others said he faked his death, escaped, and fled to America. But the worst reports were from people who heard gunshots on the bridge.
Gunshots?
Claiming the captain shot himself as the ship went down. Because of this, he was remembered as a coward. But years later, one researcher claimed the gunshots were fired as warning shots to calm the panicked crowd. One survivor saw him saving
I had to stop. Calm the panicked crowd. Alright, yeah. Move for gunshots. Alright.
a baby and refusing a lifeboat so others would be saved. Meaning the captain may have actually been a hero after all.
Oh my gosh, that's ore though. That's so much ore, but he had like sacrifice ore, meaning that like he did all these good deeds, but unfortunately he probably passed away. Like how society just makes good people seem bad, respect to the captain, that's what I'm saying, bro. True captain goes down with the ship, what a legend.
One identical twin boards a spaceship while the other stays on Earth. The spaceship then then begins flying through space at the speed of light. Now, even though they would both feel time passing normally, the twin back on Earth would actually experience time faster. That's because time bends and stretches depending on how fast you're going.
Whoa, really?
The closer you get to the speed of light, the more time slows down, meaning when the one twin returned, they would be younger than the other twin.
Whoa! Wait, that's actually crazy. That's actually true? Because I mean, whenever Zack the film says about anything, literally, it's all non-fiction. It's all true. None of it is fake.
They crammed the 500-pound body inside the chamber and turned up the flames to cremate it. But as it began to burn, the massive amount of fat started to liquefy, and then it ignited. Chunks of burning fat launched up through the vent system, landing on the roof. This set the rubber material on fire, forcing workers inside to evacuate. And by the time firefighters arrived, the roof was engulfed in flames.
Oh my gosh. This is crazy, yo. Bro fought until the very end, lest we forget. Gorlock the Destroyer.
He lines up the probe carefully and moves forward to
What?
lock it into the hose trailing from the plane. Then the probe's nozzle pushes
No
against
way.
the valve
That's
on the
crazy
hose.
maneuvers.
This creates a sealed connection between the planes. Then thousands of gallons quickly pump through the hose and into the fighter jet. And this fills the jet's tanks as the planes continue to fly in perfect formation.
What? That's cool. That's actually sick. The fighter pilot is just Rick.
The bullet was shot
Oh
and
my gosh.
lodged into his chest. Now, doctors said it was too close to his heart and lungs to remove, so they just left it in.
Are we serious?
He grew up and raised a family with a bullet still inside of him, and it sat in his chest for decades without pain. But at age 85, while recovering from a car crash, he coughed, and the bullet came out after all these years.
That's so crazy. I mean, good thing he survived, bro. But like, dude, bro survived a gunshot as a kid, a car crash at 85. True legend. Yeah, a car crash at 85 is insane. Bro spat the bullet like Hulk. Now, this is insane, though.
If you swab the microbes off of your skin and drop them into a jar of flour and water,
Yo, that's so evil. Imagine you're in like a cooking class and you do that, bro.
they'll start to eat the sugars inside the flour. And as they break it down, they release carbon dioxide gas. Over a few days, the mixture will bubble up as more and more gas is released. Next, add more flour and water, kneading it together until you have dough. And when you bake it, you'll have your very own sourdough using your body's natural yeast.
Nasty. That's just nasty, bro. These are definitely the world's most disturbing animations, bro. Zack the films will always disturb you.
If a long strip was taped to a dollar bill
Okay.
and fed into a soda machine before making a selection, could the money be yanked back out in time to get a free soda? Well, modern vending machines scan the bill by shining lights onto the paper, and if it reflects off the tape in unexpected ways, the machine will reject the bill. But older machines would only check for the magnetic ink inside the bill, meaning it could be accepted and then yanked out, leaving credit on the machine while you save the $1 bill. But remember, this is stealing, and you would be a scumbag if you tried it.
Heavy scumbag. Yeah, guys. Bro, Zack the films is casually educating us how to do these hacks for free on the internet.
They surgically
Ew.
removed 90% of her tongue because it had cancer. Next,
wait,
they
what?
cut a muscle out of her arm. They connected the veins inside her mouth and stitched the nerves together. The muscle was stitched onto what was left of her tongue, matching its shape. And even though doctors said she would never speak again, she said hello to her daughter just days later.
That's the most disturbing thing I ever seen. It's so like, wow, I'm glad she's safe, bro. Never underestimate the power of a mother who loves her children infinitely.
The terrifying creature devoured livestock and even preyed on women and
Are you
children.
serious?
The villagers
Hey, here we go. Zack the films awarded the most disturbing
hunted it
animations.
down and killed it. And for some reason, they believed it was the mayor who had come back from the dead as a werewolf. They dressed the dead creature in a flesh-colored suit
Are we
that
serious?
looked like human skin and added a brown wig and a long white beard.
Yeah, that's so
To
weird.
finish it off, they cut off its snout, replacing it with a mask that looked like the mayor. And just to be sure the creature was dead, they hanged it in a public trial.
This is some witcheroo, voodoo, witchcraft type stuff, bro. The villagers must have a serious beef with that man. That's what I'm saying, bro.
He began throwing up immediately after drinking his morning coffee. He began to feel sick, and some even had severe diarrhea. And when they checked the security footage, they found something shocking. An angry employee had been pouring cleaning spray into the fresh pot. She had been upset at her coworkers and poisoned the coffee for revenge.
That's literally illegal.
Caught, she was sentenced to 3 years in prison.
Bro, 3 years? What? Yeah, she must have been a baddie for the judge, bro. Like 3 years, literally trying to kill multiple people, bro. 3 years is surprisingly for what could have been an attempt to murder multiple employees. That's what I'm saying. Exact words.
When they opened the ancient tomb, they found treasures hidden for thousands of years. But later, a man who entered the tomb ended up dying from an infected bug bite. And another man who was there was found dead after being smothered in his bed. Then someone else connected to the discovery was shot by his wife, killing him instantly. In total, 8 people present when the tomb was opened died in strange ways in the years that followed. Panic spread among the explorers as they wondered who was next.
That's so scary.
He dreamt he was walking through the White House late at night and stumbled upon a room draped in black.
Oh my gosh.
Inside, a casket rested in the center, guarded by soldiers. Confused, Lincoln asked one of them who had died, and the guard said it was the president who had been assassinated. Lincoln woke up and dismissed it as just a dream, but 3 days later, he was shot in the back of the head at a theater.
Honestly, so tragic. Bro saw into the future, literally.
A group of friends suddenly spotted a creature with
hell no!
red eyes standing in the road. Terrified, they drove away, but the creature took flight and followed them. It
what?
over them repeatedly, emitting a horrifying screech. They finally lost it, but were left shaken, convinced they had encountered something supernatural. This terrifying case became one of the most famous Mothman sightings. These unverified sightings began to spread fear throughout West Virginia. Now, most believe it was simply a local legend fueled by fear and hysteria. But with no concrete evidence, the Mothman remains an eerie mystery.
Oh, hell no! I'm glad I live on the other side of the world. That group of friends was living in a horror movie IRL.
The fish nibbled on her massive balls at 300
Hey,
miles
yo!
per hour as they swallowed a metal bowl that set over poop. As a fish sucks in your balls.
Hey, yo! Bro, once Zack sees this, you're cooked. Yeah.
When early humans pooped,
Ew! Alright, bro. I'm glad. You guys are glad that that's censored. I just saw.
have to wipe, and this was because they squatted instead of sitting, which helped everything come out quickly. And they also ate a lot of raw plants, which were full of fiber. This made their poop firm and dry, so nothing really stuck. But as we started eating softer, processed foods, our poop became stickier. Now, instead of coming out clean, it smears as it's pushed out, which means wiping is necessary.
Why is he looking like that, bro? Can I need to raise for the realism?
They would be placed into a sack alongside a monkey, a snake, and a chicken.
Are you serious?
This punishment was saved for people who killed their parents. Once
Okay, why do we do that?
sealed, the sack was thrown into a river. As the person inside struggled to breathe, the panicked animals would attack, creating a chaotic and brutal scenario. The goal was to ensure that the punishment was as horrifying as the crime. Crept towards the house, keeping their footsteps light so they wouldn't be heard.
Why people still poop in
all to
Japan?
steal a bucket of poop.
Ew!
Poop was really valuable. Farmers needed it as fertilizer, helping crops grow faster. And people even traded their poop in exchange for food.
Okay, that's
Eventually,
wild.
Human poop became so valuable that thieves risked getting caught just to steal it.
That is so cursed. By the way, bro, Zack D Films never lies in his videos unless he specifically says fiction. So this, people really stole poop in Japan and maybe other parts of the world. This is why Zack would never run out of ideas.
If your eyelids were ripped off,
Oh my
the tears that
gosh.
keep your eyes wet would start to dry up. An hour later, the dryness could cause tiny scratches on the surface of your eyes. Over the next few days, without lids to clean away debris, your eyeballs might have open sores caused by dirt and and dust. Sleeping would be difficult since you can't close your eyes, making them even drier and strained. Eventually, infections would develop, leading to serious eye damage and permanent blindness.
That's cursed Zack defense for ya. Sleeping would be difficult since you can't close your eyes. No way for real. No, a bomb? What is that? The trunk had no bottom? What is this? Oh no, we have a horror movie, y'all. So we just bring a random box in our house. Okay. Yeah. Don't tell me he falls in. Oh, heck no. Okay, we're just disposing money. Yeah, we just... Hey, hold up! Hold up! Wait, now you just sold. Oh, wait. Wait. Wait, this is kind of creepy, bro. I feel like I'm about to get jump scared. No, don't tell me you're gonna go in. No, 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 no. No, you're so greedy. You're greedy, bro. This is what they call the greed in the Bible, bro. Wait, he's outside. Wait. No, he's trapped. You're stupid. Wait. Oh wait, we heard that earlier. Wait, so then... Don't tell me. He sees the box. That's crazy. This is Interstellar, bro. When I didn't hear Zack's voice for the first 2 seconds, I knew I had to put my TV aside. For a second, I had to check if my headphones were working. A video of Zack's voiceover is creepy as... Yeah, bro, this is actually creepy, bro. Bro, this is why Zack D Films has the world's most cursed animations, bro. It's only gonna get more cursed later in the video.
If you get hit in the eye,
let me guess, you would go blind.
you can no longer hear out of that eye.
Really? Let me try. Damn it, now I lost my sense of smell.
Nice.
The kidney was placed in a cooler and flown to another state. There, a man picked it up to drive the rest of the way to the hospital, but his car skidded in a snowbank, and he was stuck in the middle of a raging blizzard. Now, the kidney only had hours left to be transplanted, so he called 911, and an officer began to dig him out with a shovel. Finally, a tow truck pulled him from the bank, and with his car finally free, he
Hey!
just in time, saving the patient's life.
W kidney deliverer. It's incredible that the man could think clearly under the pressure, and to do all of this for one patient, faith in humanity is restored.
They slide a thin needle straight through the cork of a $1,000 whiskey
Whoa.
bottle, and as the liquid flows out of the spout, it's replaced with gas. Now, this device is actually designed to sample wine without opening the bottle, but thieves use it to empty high-ticket whiskey bottles. Next, they refill them with cheaper alcohol using a syringe. Once the needle is removed, the natural pressure in the cork reseals the hole, and the bottle looks brand new.
What?
Meaning the thieves can resell it and keep the real whiskey for themselves.
Are you serious? Bro, I swear Zack D Films, he's educational, but he actually teaches us ways we can do bad stuff. Respect to Zack for exposing them, for real. Damn, bro, exposing and helping criminals at the same time. That's what I'm saying, bro. He exposes criminals, but he tells us like the most craziest methods to make money. Doing that off of Jim's whiskey is crazy. And yeah, there you guys have it. 1 hour of Zack D Films' most cursed animations. If you guys see more content like this, click this video here.